Mary Magdalene's story has long captivated scholars, theologians, and everyday readers who find in her life a blend of devotion, mystery, and controversy. Her name immediately evokes images of unwavering faith and deep personal transformation. Yet the narrative that has come down through popular tradition often obscures her genuine contributions. By looking closely at the biblical texts, later historical reinterpretations, and the rediscovery of non-canonical writings, one can piece together a broader view of who Mary Magdalene really was and why her legacy is so charged with fascination. She appears in the New Testament as a devoted follower of Jesus, first noted for the dramatic healing in which he cast out 7 demons from her. This episode, recorded in the Gospel of Luke, is more than a simple act of exorcism. The number 7, traditionally a symbol of completeness in biblical texts, may point to a profound restoration of her entire being. Freed from suffering, she emerges as a steadfast disciple who accompanies Jesus throughout his ministry and even assists him financially, a detail that stands out in a society where women rarely enjoyed economic independence or public roles of influence. Her significance deepens further around the time of the crucifixion. While many of Jesus' male disciples fled in fear, Mary Magdalene remained present at the cross, a testament to her remarkable loyalty. In the first-century world, women were frequently marginalized, so her conspicuous devotion at such a perilous moment speaks volumes about her courage. Later, in all 4 canonical Gospels, she is uniquely identified as the first witness of the resurrection. This extraordinary event shows her arriving at the tomb to anoint Jesus' body, only to discover he has risen. She is then entrusted with the news that would transform the entire course of Christian belief. She is sent to share this revelation with the other disciples, effectively making her the first bearer of the resurrection message. In light of the era's customs, which often dismissed women's testimony, her role as the primary witness is all the more striking. Jesus' choice in commissioning her with so pivotal an announcement implicitly elevates her standing and challenges the patriarchal norms of the time. Despite these clear acknowledgments of her importance in the biblical accounts, later traditions distorted her image. One of the most significant missteps occurred in the 6th century, when Pope Gregory I conflated Mary Magdalene with the unnamed sinful woman who anointed Jesus' feet, also mentioned in Luke's Gospel. This error, which was never explicitly supported by the texts themselves, ignited a centuries-long misunderstanding. Instead of being widely recognized as a leading disciple who demonstrated courage and understanding, she came to be seen as a repentant prostitute, a label that overshadowed the earlier accounts of her spiritual leadership and fidelity. That portrayal continued for centuries, fed by sermons, medieval art, and popular legends that blurred the lines between separate biblical women named Mary. Over time, cultural and societal biases converged to reinforce these misconceptions, effectively minimizing her prominence as a respected follower of Jesus and diminishing her potential as a voice of early Christian wisdom. In more recent centuries, discoveries of non-canonical writings have breathed new life into the conversation about Mary Magdalene's authenticity. Texts labeled as Gnostic, including the Gospel of Mary, offer a picture of her that breaks away from the long-standing, repentant sinner mold. Though the Gospel of Mary survives only in fragments, its content disrupts common assumptions by presenting Mary as a confidant of Jesus, who receives esoteric teachings on the nature of sin, salvation, and reality itself. Unlike the canonical Gospels, which often focus on the narrative of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, these writings delve into profound metaphysical dialogues. They portray sin as rooted in ignorance rather than a universal stain on human nature, and they suggest that personal knowledge, called gnosis, is central to overcoming the illusions of the material world. In these rediscovered pages, Mary not only comforts the male disciples after Jesus' departure, but also attempts to guide them, speaking with an authority that reflects her deep intimacy with Jesus' teachings. Her ability to interpret and articulate spiritual truths sets her apart, but also creates tension. Certain disciples, notably Peter in the Gospel of Mary, doubt her account and question whether a woman could truly have been singled out for secret revelations by Jesus. The dialogue in this non-canonical text highlights the wider disputes simmering in early Christian communities about who had the right to lead and teach, a debate colored by cultural norms that often placed women in subordinate positions. This image of Mary Magdalene as a bearer of hidden knowledge has fueled widespread curiosity and speculation. Some have suggested that institutional authorities in the early church might have purposely suppressed her prominence, fearing that such a powerful female figure would challenge the emerging structures of leadership. Others argue that many texts were simply discarded for theological reasons, as bishops and councils struggled to define a single orthodoxy from a diverse array of beliefs. Whatever the motives for excluding works like the Gospel of Mary from the official canon, the result was centuries in which Mary Magdalene's potential role as a spiritual leader remained largely hidden from mainstream Christian teaching. In popular culture, her story has seen numerous revivals. Contemporary novels, films, and television explorations repeatedly revisit the question of what secret Mary Magdalene might have held. Some fictionalized accounts go so far as to propose that she was Jesus' wife, or that she held unique knowledge about the true nature of his mission. While these speculations may stretch beyond scholarly consensus, they reflect an ongoing hunger for narratives that bring the marginalized voices of Christian history to the forefront. Modern scholarship, meanwhile, attempts to balance these imaginative portrayals with historical and textual analysis, showing how her status as a prominent disciple was buried under centuries of conflations and patriarchal biases. Her depiction in the Gnostic texts poses important philosophical questions about sin, salvation, and the role of personal experience in one's spiritual journey. By defining sin as ignorance, these writings shift the discussion away from the notion of inherent guilt or external forces, and place the responsibility on human beings to seek truth and enlightenment through understanding. The Gospel of Mary emphasizes that salvation involves freeing oneself from illusions and attachments, a journey inward rather than outward. In this way, Mary Magdalene stands as a symbol of spiritual maturity, a figure who overcame her own suffering to cultivate insight and extend it to others. This interpretation resonates with broader Gnostic philosophies that value internal revelation over institutional authority. Through this lens, Mary Magdalene emerges as an empowering figure. She functions as an example of faith anchored in knowledge, someone who not only believes but also perceives. Her resilience in the face of her fellow disciples' doubts becomes a testament to the ability of marginalized voices to hold vital wisdom that can revolutionize a community's beliefs. Furthermore, her persistent mislabeling as a sinful outcast and her subsequent reclamation in modern times highlight deep-seated issues of gender and power within religious traditions. Contemporary spiritual movements often regard her as an archetype of the divine feminine, a concept championing the importance of women's spiritual and societal roles. By focusing on her story, modern believers sometimes find a path for integrating love, intuition, and equality into their faith practice. She has also been interpreted as an embodiment of redemption, a powerful image for anyone seeking to shake off the misjudgments of society and realize an authentic, empowered identity. While these interpretations can vary widely, they reflect a common recognition that the woman at the heart of these ancient accounts was far more complex and influential than was once believed. At the same time, debates continue over how much of this picture is historically factual. The truth lies scattered among fragmentary texts, ambiguous archaeological finds, and centuries of interpretive tradition. Nevertheless, the shift away from branding her as a fallen woman toward recognizing her as a faithful disciple and potential spiritual leader stands on firmer ground now than ever before. Careful studies of the Gospel accounts emphasize that there is no direct scriptural evidence portraying her as a prostitute or defining her solely by sin. Instead, the canonical texts point to a woman defined by gratitude for healing, unwavering loyalty, and a central place at the dawn of Christianity's defining miracle. Her role as the first witness to the resurrection carries tremendous symbolic weight. In a culture that often discounted women's voices, this choice by Jesus to appear first to Mary Magdalene underscores the inclusive nature of his message and the radical recentering of social assumptions that was part of early Christian faith. This emphasis on her presence at the empty tomb also confronts modern readers with the question of how such a vital figure could have been relegated to the sidelines. Whether as a literal historical event or a matter of theological principle, the idea that she alone was entrusted with announcing the resurrection's truth to the disciples underlines her importance far more than any later myth of her supposed moral failings. In many ways, rediscovering Mary Magdalene's authentic place in the Christian story is less about unearthing a single dark secret than about broadening our perspective. She represents a gateway to discussions about how the early church formed its doctrines, selected its canonical texts, and navigated internal conflicts about gender and authority. Her portrayal in Gnostic literature widens the scope of theological debate, suggesting that early Christian communities were far from monolithic and possessed a range of ideas about the path to salvation and the essence of sin. She points us toward a more nuanced understanding of faith itself, one that accommodates multiple voices and layers of tradition. For many believers and seekers, her story resonates on a deeply personal level. It is a saga of liberation from suffering, profound devotion, and ultimate empowerment. It offers a timeless invitation to examine what one believes about God, truth, and the nature of redemption. By embracing the complexity of her character, healed disciple, courageous witness, holder of hidden teachings, her life story challenges old assumptions and sparks curiosity about what other dimensions of the Christian narrative might have been overshadowed or lost. In a broader sense, her figure stands as an emblem of the underestimated individual who rises to spiritual prominence despite societal barriers. Her fidelity to Jesus in his darkest hour speaks to the kind of steadfast love and courage that transcends historical context. All these elements converging, her biblical witness, her later misrepresentation, the rediscovered alternative texts, and her appropriation by modern culture, illustrate why Mary Magdalene remains so compelling. She is at once ancient and contemporary, rooted in scripture but also reinvented in each retelling. While conspiracy theories sometimes leap into sensational territory, the deeper question centers on what her story reveals about how religious movements evolve, how sacred texts are interpreted, and how gender roles shape our collective memory of spiritual pioneers. Ultimately, her path from misunderstood sinner to reinstated apostle and spiritual teacher mirrors the transformative potential that lies at the heart of Christianity. She symbolizes the idea that true faith involves both devotion and insight, both heartfelt commitment and deep questioning. In rediscovering her story, modern readers are reminded that the legacy of early Christianity is richer and more diverse than the simplified versions passed down through tradition. Her resilience in the face of doubt, her insights into the nature of sin and redemption, and her unwavering bond with Jesus all underscore a message of hope and spiritual empowerment. Mary Magdalene's ongoing relevance suggests that her influence will continue to spark debate and inspire believers, thinkers, and creatives alike, urging them to look more closely at the intersection of history, faith, and the boundless quest for meaning that has defined human spirituality across the ages.